anyways, sorry. That, my phone, I gotta get some information off my phone. It stopped my ability to record here. So, yeah, past versions are like, just the ghosts of my past. They're who I am. They're versions of who I am. But at the same time, they can't just be reanimated long term. They're like friends. They're like cherished friends. I digress. So, what am I saying here about recovering? What I'm saying is, look, if you want to recover and think you're going to find the dignity of it in other people's interpretation of your like return to normality or reintegration in the world, you better find a way to do that. Maybe you will. But maybe you won't. Maybe there will be no dignity in that quest because it simply isn't possible. And you're out there trying to please people as though that's the point of your healing journey. To find a new way to reintegrate into something like slavery that yet again serves the wrong locus of control and the wrong master. You cannot heal yourself by catering to another person's desire to ignore you and what's wrong with you so that you can please them instead. So, what does it look like? I mean, a lot of people don't survive their healing journey. They die. Suicide, they don't make it. They just can't get up. And to some extent, a lot of us don't fully get up. So, what is there? What is there? Well, I think that, no one, look, the return to your life is going to be one that maybe we got to face it like this, is that you don't ever become the person who you thought you were again or would have liked to have been had things worked out. You know why? Because they didn't work out. You didn't get that life. You can't go back to the life they stole and destroyed. It isn't there. It's not waiting. They won that battle. They blew your life out of the water. That version of you died on that hill. You want to talk about spirituality, okay? Like, I'm trying to get through to you. You died on that hill. Soldier. There's no going back. Maybe if you got to play hero, that's a consolation that some don't get, so take your victories where you find them as well as the loss. So what does it look like if you survive? Well, I think the dignity is found in understanding that, look, like, do not approach these people. The dignity is not found in you all of a sudden imagining that you've returned to a life where they're operating just fine, no problem, and like, oh, you're finally back. You're finally back. You can finally be with us again. Now you're a peer. You're finally normal again. You can, oh, look, you can hold your head up high. You're not some kind of a whatever they've been telling you to make you feel like less than what you are so that they can prop themselves up as though they're an answer that you just don't get. It's like a bunch of pretentious spiritualists on fucking mushrooms or something like that telling you like, oh, you just don't get it. You just don't get it. He's not there. He doesn't get it. Fuck off. Maybe you're just high as fuck right now. You're just real high, What did you get or hang on to that's tangible enough and real to translate to something like an accomplishment or principle? A lot of these people don't bear through. So, anyway, oh man, I so digressed here. I feel badly about that. But look, maybe the dignity isn't in returning to them on their terms where they are. It's you understanding that it doesn't matter how you get back or where you end up, you're going to probably be a version of you that's damaged. That's different because of it. And you're not there to fluff and flatter these people. They've got to understand that the sort of person you are is legit. It doesn't need to apologize for itself. And it doesn't have to be anything else. So maybe they need to understand a thing or two about what it is to understand the complexities of life and appreciate, a man who's damaged still has a home. They better learn a thing or two about that and be able to look at that and show some understanding on their part. It's not about us understanding just how we might imagine to do the impossible and be like them again and get in with them or do as they do again, or else find ourselves a failure. Maybe they're the failure for not being able to appreciate that men like us, women like us, children like us walk the earth, and they're the ones who got to understand that, yeah, we're different. We're different, and look, you think you're too good for us? What does that have to do with anything? What do you mean, too good? Just, look, it doesn't have to be a fight, but maybe it is. Maybe you gotta smack one of these people around a bit, sort of rhetorically, or... But, you have to return to your own house eventually and accept who you are and what's going on and what's left on the table for you. I live and die at the altar of something like the table, of something like justice, rights, protecting the lives of innocent. I'm a vegan. I will be. I can't tell you if it's the best thing to do for your health or well-being. I'm overweight right now. I don't look good. I haven't exercised in a long time. It's something I want to do. I'm going to do. But I don't know. Had I stayed with meat and stuff and watched my calories and everything else being equal, did what people do to stay fit, I don't know. Would I in some ways have done better for it? It just isn't even a question. I don't bother asking it because my table is not prioritized for those kinds of questions. I don't even ask it. So when someone's like, oh, I believe in the vegan thing, I believe in caring for animals, I want to try, but I'm afraid of this, can you guarantee me, give me some kind of a guarantee that I'm not going to suffer some kind of adverse condition compared to what it would have been had you been eating meat? I can't guarantee you that. And I can't tell you to do it if what you prioritize... I can't tell you to do it with a reassurance given that you prioritize some other thing, other than justice, other than refusing to take part in a Holocaust, other than refusing to see yourself as the criminal in a war against innocent lives. So you got to make your choice and your call. I did, and that's what I prioritize. I don't know if I'd be better off or worse, but all I know in a score of better or worse, I've always found it to be better to be vegan. I get leaner. I can hold on to that leanness easier. I can control my body comp better, and I have a real hard time with that. I have a really hard time with that. Hard time controlling my eating because I want to emotionally eat because I'm a wreck. So let's not paint it as how it is. I was sitting around thinking I don't know really how I'm presenting myself. I'm not giving it much thought. I just throw myself in this conversation. I'm not thinking, how do I want to present myself? How could I be saying things? Should I make it more interesting? Should I pick up I could do it a lot. Look, I've done stand-up routines and stuff like that around here to keep myself busy. It's not so much a plan. It's just a matter of how do I want to turn it on? Do I want to what kind of attitude, what mood do I want to bring to a situation? I haven't done anything like that here because I think maybe we should have some serious discourse first, if anything, and not worry. Just let myself be in this mode I'm in right now. I have not slept well. I had a 2 month. And you can check my Facebook. Well, I don't really want to give my name and Facebook page yet, but I had a 2 month protest going on Facebook to do with, basically wanting to install a prime guardian in the House of Commons, Parliament in Canada, where the Speaker is put a prime guardian there that refuses to allow the government to pass any action or motion or bill, legislation that could harm Canadians. Because they do that. And no one stops them. And maybe you depend on the judiciary, but where are they? They don't step in, and by the time they do, it's way too late. Damage is done, and then now we're doing the backtrack thing where we're trying to make up for all this chaos that's been already unleashed on the Canadian public. There needs to be a guardian, like a goalie, to stop it right there before it gets out of the house. And, that position should also put priority in government when it comes to providing for basic needs and guarding the rights of Canadians. So if there's a housing crisis and a homeless crisis, you don't get to just talk about all the flippin' indulgent things you'd like to do with taxpayers' money while you ignore the Holocaust that's happening. All these people dying on the streets, like, no, focus up. You know what I mean? Look, if you want this to be dealt with quickly so you can move on to these these other indulgent products and projects that you have as an idea, you better go and seize some properties from rich people that are holding them and pricing those properties too high to actually house people. You better expropriate. Do it right now. Don't talk to me about building homes and waiting for 10, 15, 20 years. Those people on the street are going to be dead, pal. So how does a government that finds validity at rule under the promise of law get away with the Holocaust? That's fascism. That's Nazism. So I just did a protest anyway. It's been ongoing for the past 2 months, and also to change the dates of the International Labor Day, or the Labor Day date, and also what I think is the International Day of Nonviolence, because they both occur on butt sexer days. Cult butt sexer days, September 2nd, October 7th, or October 2nd. Just in case you didn't know that, September, right? Scepter, burning scepter, dark mind-controlling leadership, wizard stuff. Second, in the butt, had anything to do with the butt. Out comes around, the next month, October 2nd, on the Day of Nonviolence. And it's on a full moon. A full moon. And more than that, it was on a solar eclipse. Nonviolence, pretty bungy kind of day for a day that has nothing to do with butt sex and violence. So look, that protest lasted for 2 months, but I really got to lose weight, don't I? I got a lot of pudding on my face for my liking, walking around myself, but yeah, I got a Facebook page. I've been doing that for years, and I am a big-time vegan activist, and talking about moral vegan wonder, which is my philosophical position. I was talking about sort of fundamental philosophy in past videos, logic, reason, morals as they amount to ethics, being the important part, and so that we don't just defect to pre-baked conclusions. Well, I didn't defect to pre-baked conclusions. I have my own, which are arrived at as a result of who and what I am and what I believe, and it amounts to moral vegan wonder. So when I throw that out, I'm giving people what I think is the place to start talking and be talking about anything. That's where I'm at. It's the answer to the Philosopher's Stone, and just about anything. It's the answer to a lot of things. Mysterious things happen when people understand it and really embrace it. And I also have, because I have a psych degree and a better part of a social work degree, I'm a theorist in psychology, and I have my own theory called moral dominion in crisis theory of personality. It's like a neo-psychodynamic, post-Freud, post-Jung, draws not loosely and also loosely on those theories to some degree to emerge to what I think was the answers that they didn't quite get. I definitely fixed Jung in many ways. I finished what he could not see. And my theory is an emerging thing. I'm supposed to keep working on it and what have you, and I will, and maybe I'll share some of that on here. But in the meantime, look, I digress. Who you are is not going to return to what they think you should be, depending. I'm sure none of you are going to would have found your way to anything like Moral Vegan Wonder. Something like an articulated account for some aspect of the innocence and the goodwill of the soul, right? It's also a good way to read the Bible. Look, if you don't understand how to read the Bible, hold Moral Vegan Wonder in mind, and you might understand it. Where the rest of people delude themselves and follow after cult evil, okay? I'll discuss what I mean by Moral Vegan Wonder more specifically in another video. But like I said, when we're talking about healing, you're oftentimes going to return to a home that's a war hero's home or something like it. People are not going to understand you. They're not going to be like you. They might not sympathize with you or have a plan to reintegrate you. And they imagine that they are somehow in control of the world. Their perspective is somehow the legitimate point of view. Everything else doesn't quite measure up, which simply may not be the case. Just because something feels better and is accompanied by a better sense of maybe wellness or balance, it doesn't mean it's more correct. And it doesn't mean that that's the answer. That's just their condition. So there are other spiritual truths that maybe they don't appreciate. Anyway, so back on the topic, that's pretty much what I have to say. I wanted to make this a very quick video, and then I droned on. I have a habit of that. I'm going to fix that sooner or later. But also check on the topic healing. Think about maybe, ripping your shirt. They don't make shirts properly. Think about maybe ripping your shirt on the left-hand side, cutting down from the arm and all the way to the hip. They don't make shirts properly, and if you have a problem, if you're unwell or you have an injury, sometimes that can really hurt your shoulder, the upper body complex, and that is a way I found to liberate that. So if you're having a hard time recovering, you have a problem with your shoulder, you feel confined in your clothing, cut down the left-hand side, free up that left-hand arm, and your whole upper body complex will be liberated, and that might help you out. So a little tip. Also, harem pants. Harem pants. Big fat harem pants, okay? Maybe throw out the underwear, get rid of that, because it'll just tangle up your tackle and all that, and then go with some cheap pillowcases front and back to kind of give more padding. You don't have just a thin layer of whatever between your business and these harem pants, whatever is outside your harem pants. So if you want to kind of recover, just give your body a chance to sort of decompress. That's my tip for healing also. For that, I think that we're good. So let's just end it here. This was supposed to be nice and concise, but it's rambling because my brain feels like Play-Doh today. I did not sleep again, and since yesterday I posted vids, and I'm rolling around dealing with some profound spiritual problems and psychological and neurological sort of problems right now, and that's okay. So I'm putting up stuff anyway. I said I would do it regardless. So here it is. This is the look. I'm no great glowing example of anything other than right now injury in an effort at recovery. So till next time.